All right. Now, as for our main quest, our big piece of news, okay, for those who are Guild Wars 2 fans, they've been hinting at this. They finally actually did kind of an announcement of sorts, not quite, but they talked about a third expansion, something dealing with the Cantha, which is reflective of Guild Wars 1 faction campaign. There's no dates and details, but so Jaziel, you are a big Guild Wars 2 fan, and what's your thought about this? What happened? What's this what you looking for?
I did. I reinstalled the game. I haven't gone in it yet, but we've talked about this a couple of times. I don't believe it was last week. I think it was the week before last. We mentioned Guild Wars 2 and all the troubles that they had gone through last year, as well as 2018. They had some layoffs, and even last year they laid off 144 people. I think it was something around that number. Now they're coming back and saying that all of the people that they laid off were working on other projects that had nothing to do with Guild Wars 2. There is some speculation that it was actually Guild Wars 3 they were working on, and it wasn't to their satisfaction or whatever, and it was dropped. But I can't speak to that. I kind of doubt it, honestly. I really doubt that it was Guild Wars 3 that they're working on. But as far as all this, I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot of news. If anybody here has read the article, it sounds like they're full steam ahead. They are completely invested in continuing, even up to a third expansion. They gave a lot of talk into the gearing, that they're working on new gear for transmogs, because as I used to tell Kenneth back in the day, it's a little subtitle name that we used to give it was Fashion Wars instead of Guild Wars. So that's a big deal to a lot of people in the game. They've also released a lot of content, with a lot of content being announced in this message that was given by the company, that there's going to be a whole lot of new stuff going on in the world, even up till the end of the year, but that we should be looking forward to it through spring and summer in the northern hemisphere, which is kind of winter and autumn for the southern hemisphere, because I know we've got people all around the world that watch us, so summer doesn't relate to everyone at the same time. But I think this is fantastic news. The thing that I will reiterate that I said the last time we spoke about it is, most of us Guild War 2 people kind of went away and started playing other games, because we were told at the time they did the layoffs that was kind of the coffin lid being put on to the game, that it was going to be going in maintenance mode, definitely not to expect a third expansion, and possibly not even any new real content. So this is huge. Now, as to my speculation on how well it'll do, I don't know that it'll work. I do hope that it'll work, and I have heard from 3 people, I know that's not a lot, but I've heard from 3 people that I used to play it with on a daily basis, that said that they've reinstalled it as well. They're going to go back and give it a try again. So, I mean, in my social circle, it looks like it might be luring some folks back. So good for them. Like I said, I'm going to play it, and I'll let you guys know next week what I think. But yeah.
Well, you said it. A key point was like layoffs are happening, but then they announced the Iceborne Saga, and it wasn't received very well.
Iceborne,
they've been rolling that out. That's why a couple of weeks ago we mentioned the latest of that. But this is literally, like I said, a third expansion, not another season, not a saga. It's literally an expansion,
right?
And it makes you wonder if they're really trying to bring the audience back. Because I said, they are tossing it toward a Guild Wars 1 area, and as they try to lure in people to be excited about this. But then again, maybe that's also a way of making it cheaper by bringing. Hope they don't bring the graphics from Guild Wars 1 in for that. But
No.
be kind of old, you know.
Well, Cantha was
All
a
right.
very popular area in Guild Wars 1.
Okay.
I remember it very fondly myself. Unfortunately, I do see that they are trying to bring that nostalgia to the Guild Wars 1 players. Unfortunately, as I was getting ready to say there, a lot of the guys and gals that I played Guild Wars 1 with that did not enjoy Guild Wars 2, that's not going to be enough to bring them to the game. But it's a nice try though, and it is very it warms my heart to see that they are really going to try to revive the game.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
All right. So next up in our big news is
What's
New World news. Well, Solomon doesn't play Guild Wars 2. That's why I was skipping
Ditto.
it.
That's how I think of it. Ditto.
Okay.
I mean, I know you played a little bit of it, but I mean, last time we talked about it, I remember you not like.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
I'm sorry, Solomon. I mean, I didn't mean to skip you, but anything you wanted to add to that?
No, I mean, if I was going to talk about it, I'd probably talk more about just the factions expansion for Guild Wars 1, really, that's going to be supposedly based off of. And, you know, we're talking about the possibility of Guild Wars 2 going into Cantha again. So I'd just be reminiscing, really. I mean, I think it's awesome. Like, they did return to some aspects of other worlds within Guild Wars 2. I believe. Wait, was Nightfall? Nightfall was the Nordic expansion ish, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think they implemented that during the Icebrute saga or something, I believe, or I don't know. But either way, I'm curious, but I don't know if I could really jump into it, because like I said, I think that ship has already sailed for me, unfortunately. But
right, okay.
I guess I'm just gonna have to watch Sir Jaziel's stream and see if I want to.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It's not for everyone. It's an older game, and I do think it turned a lot of people off when they did those layoffs. And like I said, when they made the announcement that there was going to be really hardly any content coming out, if at all, I think a lot of people just have moved on, like I said. And, you know, there's a lot more MMOs coming out. We've got New World coming out and whatnot. I don't know that this is going to make people return to the game instead of just saying, you know what, I don't want to get into it and then have them shut it down again.
Yeah. All right. The next up is our big news. It's a New World. Since we are going to play this into May, they have not mentioned any changes. But what I thought was interesting was their recent talking about houses. Okay. And what does it take to actually get a home in the New World? Okay. So I've always been a fan of housing. I like housing. I've actually kickstarted several games with the idea for housing. So this sounds kind of exciting to me. Obviously, we got it. It does require a certain amount of play time in it. So, Solomon, how excited are you about housing in New World?
I don't know yet. Like, I'm looking forward to it, but there's other things that I want to know more about the game before I get to housing, and that's obviously how they're going to implement the PvP and the PvP aspects of the game. If PvP is going to be forced, or is it going to be something that's going to be able to complement each other? And if it's complementing each other, how well is that complemented? Because that's a very hard balance to actually pull off, especially if you're focusing on very large PvP raids and stuff like that. And I know I'm digressing, so I apologize. But anyways, man, I think it's gonna be an amazing part of the game. I'm glad that they're implementing it, but no matter how awesome the housing is going to be or not going to be in the New World, like, if they don't get the core mechanics down, like, it doesn't matter how awesome the housing is going to be. You know, people are just not going to play it.
That's true.
So, I mean, that's the way I look at it.
Yeah. But you, Sir Jaziel, housing? Yes or no?
Well, again, as I said last week, it's not my favorite part of the games. If I want to do housing, then I would go play Sims 4 or 3. But I'm not against how they're doing it. I think how they're going to implement it is it's reasonable. It's a lot of work, and I think it should be for what they're trying to accomplish with it. And I'm kind of with Solomon there that there's so much other content that you have to accomplish first that it's going to be kind of just something that's in the background for now for us. And really, with it being so PvP heavy, I'm not really sure that having a home in there really. Homes to me in MMOs feel more at place in a PvE setting. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not giving it enough credit, but to me, that seems more of an RPG kind of thing. You know, having your own house with your own furniture and your own decorations and perks and whatnot in there. But the thing is, we're going to have forts, you know, that are governed by our guilds. They're not called guilds in the game, but the guild leaders are called governors, and you're going to have your own little guild forts and whatnot anyway. So it makes sense. And like I said, I did read the article, and I was pretty pleased with what I was reading. And I'm hoping that we get to that level where we get to where we're decorating our houses with pretty flowers and pictures of dogs playing poker. I mean,
That's right. That's right. All right, that was cool. Anyway, the last of our big news, okay, I thought was interesting was I was listening to Jazil's show earlier, and he commented about, you know, turning his sub off for a while, but what would get him to, but if they had this one thing, he might not have turned it off. And account-wide essences are coming with the next server maintenance. I thought when Godfuzz mentioned it, I'm like, okay, that's nice. I'm not big into that. I don't know all about it. And then hearing you today mentioning it, and I'm like, all right, so what do you got to say about this now that WoW is giving out white essences?
I wouldn't have, you know what, honestly, I wouldn't have turned off my subscription if they would have implemented that the week that I got rid of my sub. It was so awful. It's already bad. It's already bad at rolling alts in the game. Let's just all be honest about that. Having alts, even one alternative character in World of Warcraft, is such a grind that it just turns you off from doing that. Or, you know, some people, you know, they've got more time in the day, but I don't. And the essences were just another huge bag of bricks that you had to carry around and accomplish with one character, that when you were rolling around with alternative characters, like, you know, I max leveled 4 characters, and then I rolled that paladin to roll around with you, Kenneth, and I knew I was just I was so like, okay, so when Kenneth and I get to level 120 with these characters, am I going to grind those essences again? And the answer was no. I'll just start playing another character with you. And then literally, what was it, 2 days after I dropped my subscription, they made it to where the essences are account wide. So if you get them on one character, you have them on all of them. Yep. And I did the whole, I should have had a V8 moment slapping my forehead several times. You might see some red right here on my forehead from doing it. Yeah, it's not enough for me to, because you dropped your sub too. So I'll really only come back if you pick your sub back up. But for right now, it's a bummer, man, because it really was difficult to grind those essences. And now that you only have to do it once, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
My sub is good. I turned it off, but I'm still good into March at this point. My plan is I'm probably not going to pick it up or play it. There are other things I'm going to play. So, Solomon, what are your thoughts about the account white essences? I don't think you play well at all.
I covered it in my latest episodes, but that's about it.
Good point. Yeah.
I mean, the article that I read it from was MMORPG.com, and they gave a very
Yep.
not scathing. It was just like, oh, this is so amazing. But the last expansion was like one of those things where like Sir Jaziel and Cantha said, it's just like it's one of those things where it really made people angry, or really made and then no wait, what was it? 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. Another 3 steps forward, another 4 steps back. That's the impression I
Well,
got.
I think a lot of people just are thinking these good changes are coming too late. The essences should have been this way. They should have been account bound a long time ago. And the unfortunate thing is, I think a lot of people, and the reason why our guild is so dead right now, is that people are just waiting for Shadowlands, hoping and praying, crossing fingers and toes that it's going to be as good as Legion. And they're just kind of done with this. And that's why Blizzard has said, there's not going to be an 8.3.5 because we're just done. We're done. Everybody hates it. We hate it. Let's just work. Let's just focus completely on Shadowlands and make that good. Or at least that's what I'm hoping they're saying behind the curtain.
All right, so those are big pieces of news, our main quest. Okay, now we're going to get into our class quests. What I thought was interesting was there was this kind of slide blurb thing where I started playing Star Trek Online just to try it out. It's free to play, but apparently at some point, I'm not sure if Cryptic fixed this or not, but they took away all their players' pricey ships. And what got me the most about this was it reminded me of Star Citizen, all because oh my word, how many people buy ships just to have the best ship or the better ship? I finished playing a quest yesterday on Star Trek Online where basically I at one point was fighting the board and all of the ships from all of the classic shows came in from across, like from a temporal distortion. So there was Kirk's Enterprise and Picard's Enterprise and Janeway's Voyager. There was Archer's Enterprise. It was all these ships of the lines about coming in. You're fighting. I died like 4 or 5 times because they kept repairing themselves. So I get why people want ships, but like I thought it was that's kind of sad that they turned off or if they screwed up taking player ships away. So be careful about any game that does this to you. Okay, personally. You guys any comment on that at all?
Well, I must have misread it because it was my understanding that was an oopsie, and that they've reversed it now. But
they reversed it? That's what I was wondering. I didn't follow up.
Yeah, I believe that was not supposed to happen, and that they fixed it now. But I don't know. We may need to confirm that.
Well, it's the whims. I call it the whims of just when you buy something on. That's why I've started buying books again because I have a book. Okay, Kindle
You read
or
books?
my Nook. You put it on there, you don't have a book. Okay, you can't get an autograph on your Kindle or your Nook.
That's true.
There's this thing here. Okay, so that's why that's it. Kind of reminded me of the whole Star Citizen thing about all the game that not released yet. People buying ships for the next ship. Oh, look, the latest. That's why, like, oh my word, I just no. So anyway, that was kind of interesting that Star Trek Online had a similar thing, but hopefully fixed it. A brief side note: Final Fantasy XI is getting a new scenario. Everyone thought that would be maintenance mode. I'm not sure if I heard that one on Solomon's show, and he did talk about Gamigo. I thought it was Gamigo. Not
it could be.
Okay?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's German weather is right, but who, by the way, you purchase Trion Worlds if you happen to like to play Rift or Defiance or Arcade, but their principal investor bought them out, and so it doesn't really matter because the guy who was running Gamigo is actually on the principal investors board. Right. So it was like you just whatever. Okay, so I don't give a crap. Okay. But here's the one I want to. This latest news is one I want to trigger Sir Jaziel on. Okay.
Oh boy. Oh, it's that bad? You got to drink to rest.
Amazon's Lord of the Rings is free to play.
Oh no.
I just heard about it today on Sir Jaziel's show, so I put it on there. So the reason why I put it on here is I guess your expression about the concern about being free to play, because free to play doesn't necessarily mean play to win. It does
Right.
allow you to buy cosmetics, allows you to buy certain things if you want to enhance things. I mean, those people who, not me, because I wasn't really into WoW, pets, and mounts and whatever. Okay, but the people who actually
I
bought
was.
money, my daughter has too. Okay, so don't get me wrong. So I had to go, my family do it. I'm like, but you're talking about free to play as if the Lord of the Rings free to play is going to be a pay to win. I mean, your concern was justified. That's why I wanted to toss it out, because if it's going to be free to play, that's not a bad thing, right? Or what?
Here's my thing. I wish I had it hanging up here so I could show you guys. I do have I have 2 master's degrees, but I also have 2 bachelor's degrees, and one of them's in business, which doesn't mean much. But
wow, really?
yes,
I didn't even know that about you.
Oh yeah.
I only have 1 bachelor's.
I love learning, but that's for another podcast. I am able to put myself in the shoes of a person who's running a company fairly easily. And I have looked into, because I'm an MMO player at heart and a gamer. I've been a gamer since the late 70s. And I have seen from a business perspective how companies have been ran and how people make their money. And of course, it's a business.
Right.
They're going to make their money back.
You have to make money, right?
Developing games costs an extraordinarily lot of money and time for people, to varying degrees, of course, because there are games that were made by one person and were extraordinarily successful. Some of the 8-bit games and whatnot, for instance. But as far as MMOs go, they are super expensive to develop, to run, to keep going, to keep pushing out new content. And you're going to have to make that money back.
Mm-hmm.
And going free to play, the only way they're going to make that money back is by gacha mechanics and by utilizing the same methods that they do on those silly little mobile phone games that some of us play.
Right.
And I highly doubt that if it's completely free to play, not buy to play, maybe I should explain what the difference is, just real briefly, because I know Solomon probably has things to say as well. Buy to play would be something similar to Elder Scrolls Online, where you purchase the game and there is either no subscription model in place, but there is a shop where you can purchase cosmetic goods, maybe extra bank space, backpack space, or other items such that allow you to maybe get other bonus materials from killing mobs or whatever. But that's basically it. And that's how they get their money, from buying the game and from doing the in-game shop. Then you also will have some that do offer a subscription model, and they'll give you little perks. Again, ESO does that perfectly. You can play the game buy to play. You just buy the game, which I think if you get the base game, it's like $10. The expansions are normally around 30 to 40. And you can, if you buy the subscription, you don't have to pay for all of those other story content and expansions and whatnot. You get them. And I think that's beautiful. I think it's perfect. And I think that ESO probably is one of the best examples of how to do it, still make money, be able to pay your employees and continue the game, running the servers and everything. And then you get Guild Wars 2 is another game that is, the base game's free. They do have a shop that has cosmetics. They do not have, there is no option for subscription. The way they make their money is through the shop. And there's no pay to win stuff there at all either. It's all cosmetics and extra bank slots and things like that. then you start getting into, I say this with caution that I'm not being racist, but a lot of the Asian games, the reason that they're called pay to win is because you aren't going to get very far in their games unless you pay in their cash shop. Sure, you can download and play the game for free, but you can only get to a certain level and a certain expertise before you are no longer competitive. You will not be successful in PvP or PvE without purchasing items that have the stat bonuses that you need for your characters, such as armor and your weapons. And unfortunately, that happens way more than the previous way. Like I said, like ESO, Guild Wars 2, where I almost feel like I like to buy things in the shop, even when I don't necessarily need them, because I feel like they're giving me really good content that I want to support them.
Right.
And I feel good about giving the money for those extra bank slots or whatever, silly little pets or cosmetics, because I feel like, hey, I'm not paying a subscription and I want those guys to eat. I want them to be able to go out and get Panda Express or Chick-fil-A or In-N-Out like I do, those are my 3 favorite restaurants, so I have to mention them. Not a sponsor. Wish you guys were. Call me. But the thing is, it is a Chinese company that is in charge of this project, and I am not a racist. But
it's okay. I gave you my Asian pass. Remember? Go ahead.
That's right.
Go
ahead. That's right. You're right. I have a very difficult time believing that they're going to allow us to download and play the game for free, and the only thing in the cash shop is going to be cosmetics. I am very
Even though
skeptical.
Amazon is in charge of it. I mean, I know Amazon's working with a Chinese company, but Amazon's ultimately the one that's going to have their name on it.
I don't know how hands-on they are with it, though. It really seemed like they have handed it to that company and just said, make something good and we'll check it out and we'll approve it. They definitely will have the final voice. But I don't know how hands-on they are going to be if there are a lot of gacha mechanics in the game. If they're going to go, no, our Western audience is going to hate that, take that out. Personally, I was hoping for a buy-to-play game with just, like I said, cosmetics and whatnot in the shop. And when the viewer came into my stream and said, oh, it's free to play, I felt gutted. I really did, because I love Lord of the Rings. I love Lord of the Rings so much. And I was looking more forward to that game than New World, to be honest with you. And you guys know how much I'm looking forward to New World. But I feel kind of gutted right now. I mean, we just heard about it, an hour and a half ago?
I mean, you were excited about it because you're like, Amazon, Lord of the Rings, this looks pretty cool. But then hearing about it's free to play, you're like, oh, wait, what? I mean, like I said, a good example to me is SWTOR. SWTOR was buy to play with a subscription model, and then they went free to play, and their free to play sucked. I mean, it was, I had bought the game originally, I played the game originally, I did all the subs for it, and then when I backed out and came back again, and their free to play was like, what? I had to buy an additional line for my bars? Like, what the heck? It's like expression, like. And Guild Wars has always been a good model where you buy the game and it's never been a sub. That was always their model, and it's like even today. So I mean, I get the whole idea of free to play has been kind of a kind of a thorn in the side, because how you do it can be done really well or also done really bad. Okay. So Solomon, did you have anything you want to say about this Lord of the Rings free to play thing?
I'm not completely against it. I think that I've played enough MMOs to see that some games actually do pull it off really well. And the one games that does come into mind, at least at first, was Terra Online. We won't talk about the lollies, but that's another story. like when that game went free to play, like their shop wasn't that bad, but over the years it got progressively worse. But again, that's a different story of in its own. But yeah, I don't know. I I'm not exactly sure how Amazon will handle it because we have no games to really judge based
Right.
upon,
Good point. Yeah.
previous. But I think Sir Jazil said that they are working with a Chinese company though, or
Mhm.
like, is that what
Mhm.
was that the case?
Yes.
That's what the article said. Yeah.
See, that gets me worried because it's just like, I mean, it's true. Let's call a spade a spade. I mean, when was the last time you saw or played or heard of any Chinese online game, MMO or otherwise, regardless of whether if it's for the PC, consoles, or the mobile, that didn't have the stigmatized, perception or stereotype of being a pay to win game or pay to win game? Like there are none. Like I can't think of any, and so at a certain point it's like, yeah, it's true, and I'm hoping that whatever company, like, are they like actual like developers, or is Amazon just self-publishing it, you know what I mean? Because I think if as a publisher they probably have more say in what goes into the cash shop.
Yeah.
Well, I believe that Amazon is just the publisher, right? And
That's
that
what I'm
it's being
wondering here.
developed
Yeah.
by the other company.
Right, in
Right. So
that
it appears like.
case there might be some hope, but um I don't know, it just seems like these days it's not so much if the question is pay to win, because the lines are being blurred between what's being considered pay to win and pay to convenience, and even I can't even separate the two definitions out yet to
Yeah.
oh, here like I can't distinctly say these are pay to win and these are pay to convenience. Like the
It's
line is
true.
just so blurred. It's just such a headache, and so
Well, and
Right.
I mean, just trying to inject a little optimism in there, which is pretty shoehorned in. But the only thing that I could think is that maybe they're hoping that the Asian market will kind of float it financially. They can leave those mechanics in the game where it's more acceptable for the
right.
game to be. I guess gotcha is kind of a dirty word. I really shouldn't use that for this style, but and maybe for the Western market and European market, they'll go ahead and take some of that out. But I kind of doubt it. Just with Salmon, I have played a lot of MMOs from all around the world, and the ones that come out of China, man, I can't think of any free to play model ones that are just absolutely reaching in your pocket the first hour that you're playing.
Well, you know what's funny? They don't even have to be free to play, like, because there's a lot
Yeah,
of even subscription model games where they have a cash shop and it's just like they sell pay to convenience items, but then people will say, "Oh no, those are actually pay to win items," and
right.
it's just like, wow,
It just depends on your perspective and how you feel that day.
right?
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
going to catch up to chat a little bit. So, Fi Night, or yeah, I think it's Fi Night. Fi Night was like, New World is very niche. He said the new Lord of the Rings MMO is going to cater to a more traditional MMO. He said he's
Mhm.
played it, so he's not that one, but the New World. He's played it and loved it. He mentioned my only issue is for the traditional MMO players that are used to 50 million skills on their bars. I fell out, and the healing was very meh. I'm always a healer and was very much left wanting with New World. Alan made a comment about I prefer free to play. Getting chased really adds an element of realism. Not sure where that's coming from.
Okay.
I like Soli Dia Gloria was like I prefer free to pray. Finite
Well,
was
that
right.
might be a
EA.
problem in China.
So Finite was referring to our comment about publishers. EA is great at killing MMOs as just a publisher. It's a fair statement about Amazon being a publisher, okay? And he also made a comment, Finite mentioned about pay to win equals free stat boosts, pay for convenience, XP boosts, bag slots, and much more. If you can outright buy your way to number one, that's what he considers to be true pay to win. Okay. Alan's
Fair
like
enough.
pay to win
Yeah, that's
is
fair
when you
enough.
have access to something free it to play doesn't. Pay for convenience is when you just pay to not grind. Grinding is the worst part about MMOs. Grinding's kind of fun too. You can watch a TV show. Okay. Five Nights at BDO is pay for convenience since you can accomplish it with all grinding, but it's a complete beast to do it. Laugh out loud. Yeah, free to play. Learn to read.
In some aspects, I have to
Free to
disagree,
win.
especially the horse breeding aspect of the game. There's no way you can't get a Corsair tier 8 horse that turns into a dream horse without actually paying for the skill change coupons. Like I've heard of nobody who's never used a skill change coupon.
This is BDO.
Yeah, this is BDO.
Okay.
Their horse breeding gameplay is just absolute garbage when it comes to pay to win mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
Alan is somewhere else. You could just pay to watch the TV show. Five Night was like, to be fair, I've only played on the KR servers for BDO. And Alan's like, Flea is not free. But
Free is not free. What is that?
I'm not. Alan is going somewhere. I know he's trying to be humorous and somewhere, okay. But anyway, so thank you. That was a good discussion about free to play. Solomon, do you have any notes? Any Solomon notes as your segment for? Okay, we don't. Just on the spot here. This is the time of the episode where we have Solomon notes, where we let Solomon give us his notes. By the way, if you're not watching him on his YouTube channel, Whiskey and RPGs, which this show is hosted on, gotta watch it. He has great content, great information about these MMOs. It saves me the opportunity of having to read the articles that are similar to it. So anyway, Solomon, got any notes?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Dad. I really do. My channel's stagnating. I need to do something different. But anyways, biggest news for me personally was Fallout Shelter Online. That I didn't even know such a game existed. Apparently, this game was developed for the Chinese market back in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't know why I never heard of it, but they're finally releasing it here to the US. And I mean, is it going to be pay to win?
What's it called?
Yes. Fallout Shelter Online.
Oh yeah, that was weird when you mentioned that. I'm like, I played the Fallout Shelter little app game, right?
Yep,
I love Fallout. But
that game was a lot of fun. But yeah, so a version of that is actually there's gonna be like a quote unquote online version of it, but we'll see if it's at least they're not calling it an MMORPG. I mean, I'm kind of thankful about that. So let's see. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that happened. Nothing really worth mentioning other than I mean, we talked about Guild Wars 2, possibly. Oh, I think this is actually worth mentioning too. So you know how Bungie and Activision were, joined at the hip or something like that?
They were, not anymore, but yeah.
Yeah, but apparently there was a leaker by the name of, I forgot his name. That's not important, but this particular person was leaking information about a possible game that Activision was making to replace Destiny. And nothing's confirmed yet, but apparently this person actually does have a lot of credibility to his name. And so, yeah, Activision is going to be releasing another looter shooter to help replace whatever they lost when Bungie parted ways with them. And obviously, we already know that Bungie took the franchise rights to Destiny and Destiny 2. And yeah, we don't know really what it's about. We don't know any of the lore. We just know that it's going to be a looter shooter again. And hopefully it won't be another... No name. We just know that they're working on it, and I'm hoping that it won't have the same release as Anthem, because we all know how much Anthem.
No. See, the problem with Anthem is BioWare. Okay, so BioWare it should be a good studio. They can come back. Okay, but
that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, BioWare Anthem Next or Anthem 2.0 is apparently still being developed right now. So
yep. They apparently let the Christmas lights up longer than normal because they have something coming in the pipeline. Anthem 2.0 may be there. Okay, it was a decent looking game, but it had problems. But BioWare needs to get back in the game. That's all.
I think the problem is like, and this is my understanding of it. Like BioWare wanted to make one game, but EA wanted them to make another, and so that's why like you had a bunch of bureaucracies just telling them what to do, what they didn't want to do, and forcing them to do what they didn't want to do, and so that's why a lot of people suspect that Anthem was the way that it is, and hopefully maybe Activision won't have that problem. Maybe I don't know who's developing it. We just know that Activision is the big publisher here, though. So that's I think
Well,
that's.
you say Activision, it only scares me because Activision tends to be like EA and not necessarily allowing their companies to be free to do their own thing. Now, mind you,
Right,
EA
Blizzard.
did do Jedi Fallen Order, but yeah, Activision is tied with Blizzard, and so you're like, well, I guess it's possible. Okay, it'd be nice if, like, say, EA, like, Fight Night was like EA killing other multiplayer games, a publisher. Activision has been the worst thing that happened to WoW. So I mean, Blizzard is still independent, but how much independence is there?
And no, actually maybe three things. The last three things I want to mention.
Okay.
If you're a big, I know there's a lot of Doctor Who fans out there. I don't know if you guys are Doctor Who fans. I'm not. I
Not
never really watched the
directly.
series. But they're doing a crossover event with Roblox, and we talked about Roblox last time. How much they're how
doing pretty
they're
good.
worth billions. Yeah.
Yep.
So I think maybe Doctor Who saw some taking some advantages of the numbers. But anyways, so we have that, and another thing, the last thing I wanted to mention was CD Projekt Red is developing a new Witcher title, and it's going to be developed as soon as they wrap up CD Projekt Red. I'm sorry, CD Projekt Red, Cyberpunk 2077.
Right.
But here's
Makes
the weird
sense.
thing, though. It's not going to be called Witcher 4. So I'm kind of curious what the next Witcher series is if it's not going to be part 4.
Witcher 97.
What?
Wow.
No, wait,
Why
what was that?
97?
Wait, what was the WoW 76? The Fallout 76. No, yeah, Witcher 76. There we go.
Like, why did you get 97? Where did that come
I was
from?
thinking Windows.
It's dyslexic. Dyslexic, that's all.
Well, Fight Night was talking about. Fight Night was like, I'm still a bit salty about Warhammer Age of Reckoning. I'm thinking like, oh yeah, Mythic, and so somehow my mind got snapped back into like 97 ish. Even though Warhammer came out in 2005 or 6, I think it was. But sorry. No, my biggest fear is like if Witcher. Hopefully, CD Projekt Red has been known to be a good thing, but taking a nice title and turning it into an online type of game like Fallout 76. That's why I was joking about Witcher 76. You get the wrong one, man. I'd ruin the joke. Okay, so
we'll try again next week.
Oh, that's gonna be the intro for this podcast.
Well, you know what's funny is I've had chats with my son. My son, by the way, for those who don't know, is a 30-year-old. So he's not quite my kid. He is my kid, but he's not. He's an adult. Okay.
Well, I thought
and he points. Well, my natural blood kid. Okay, but anyways, what's interesting is the fact that these big titles that used to have a huge fan base of people would just fight for them. BioWare, Bethesda, okay, even Blizzard, and yet some of these companies have been bought out by these bigger conglomerates. And yes, we know about money. Mr. Jazio is right with his bachelor's in business. It's true. People need to make money. They have to make money because otherwise they're not going to be able to stay in business. But making a title that doesn't do the job or is released too early or has all these problems with, that's going to kill the company faster. And for a lot of us who have had this past experience with Bethesda, BioWare, Blizzard, all of them. Okay, I mean, does anybody remember Sierra Online?
Oh yeah.
And we don't want to see like the new ones coming out, like CD Projekt Red or even Respawn, kind of following the same trap. We hope not. So, yeah.
And lastly, this isn't an MMO nor is it an RPG. I'm just mentioning it because I know you guys are huge fans of this franchise, but there's a game that was released back in 1997 based on the Blade Runner franchise, and they're remastering that, and I can't wait for that game. Or maybe you guys aren't Blade Runner fans.
I love
Blade Runner. Okay.
Yeah,
but there was a point and click adventure game for Blade Runner that came out in 1997.
I remember that.
Yeah, and they're coming out with I think like a remastered version of that, and I got very excited because not only is it the Blade Runner franchise, but it's like 97, so you're talking like a retro game being remade, which I think is really cool.
Yeah. All right. Solomon knows are over. Thank you so much, Solomon, for those little side quests. Nice to have those. Oh, sorry. It's part of the class quest. So I forgot Collective was the guy always giving me crap about being married to Roberta Williams. My name is Ken. I'm like, no. If I was married to Roberta Williams, I'd be rich right now. Okay,
Who's
my
Roberta Williams? I don't
Sarah
know who that is.
Online to like FK9 5 saying that I miss Sarah games. Okay. Side quest. All right. So there's an article that was published in MMORPG. Okay, it was a column. So it got me to wondering. Okay, we already chatted about in the past about other MMOs, right? But what is your fallback MMO? In other words, you're sitting there, you get tired of the latest MMO, and you just want to go back. You fall back. What is your fallback? I think I know Solomon, so I'm gonna go with him first. Okay, Solomon, what's your fallback MMO?
I'm kind of curious. What do you think my fallback MMO is?
Hello, Kitty.
Dang it!
I was thinking BDO right now. Okay.
Temtem.
No, that's my.
Wait, no. It has to be the Tierra Online. No, yes.
Tierra Online? What the heck?
I know. I don't.
Tierra.
Tiara, like a princess tiara, like
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
princess. Hello Kitty. No,
I didn't know you thought about me like that.
Well, I know that you AFK fish in BDO like you're doing right now.
BDO is my main. Yeah, it's true. But no, it's my main MMO right now, actually.
Which is not your Fallout. So, I'm sorry. What's your fallback MMO then?
It's Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Oh, that's right. Star Wars
Yeah.
KOTOR.
Yeah, that. And if you're gonna include mobile games, it's not really an MMO, but it is sort of online in a way. But it's there's an anime RPG called Epic 7 that I probably play a few times a week too. But
Okay.
other than that,
KOTOR. Okay.
I
Yeah,
think
not
that's
bad.
it. Yeah, Black Desert, SWORDOR. In terms of MMOs, yeah, I think that's it really for now. So
I like FK Knight was like, you're really going to make me say this out loud, huh? Okay. Maple Story.
I've never played Maple Story. Although it's shocking because I'm Asian, I get it, but
I've seen it at PAX West. It's been there a couple of times, right? But never played it myself. So Jazio, what is your fallback MMO?
Well, at times it's the one I play as my main, but I always well, I don't know. Yeah, because
You're
it's
sitting there.
I go back and forth between World of Warcraft and Elder Scrolls Online. I've been doing that for a long time, so it's really hard to say one or the other is the fallback, but they're both kind of, if I'm playing the one, then I end up going back to the other. Guild Wars 2 kind of gets thrown in that mix, but not as much. Those two are really the ones that I go back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Colt went and said Animal Crossing. Whatever. Okay. Five Night was
Animal Crossing looks like a really good game.
It is a fun game. Don't get me wrong. It's a fun game, but it's not an MMO. Okay. So Fight Night was, I love Maple Story. It's one of those games that I can go back to because it's become so mindless and I can just play a nuke class. Fair enough. Animal Crossing is a fun game. Don't get me wrong. The latest one's coming out on March 20th, I think in 6 days from now.
Yeah. We need to play that.
This article, Tim. This article, the guy who wrote this was like his go back was like Star Wars: The Old Republic, Final Fantasy 14, which is, by the way, both those games are still active. Okay. He also mentioned private servers. Okay, especially when it comes to like City of Heroes.
Oh, right.
Maybe those people who play Star Wars Galaxies, and I guess there's also a Warhammer Online rogue server. So, yeah, my go back. I don't have one. I think it's more like, what is the game that I want? I guess if you think about it, if I had a choice, I'd go back. It'd probably be Star Wars, the old Republic, because I like Star Wars. I'm a big fan of Star Wars.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right, so we got Colts, Animal Crossing, and Five Night is Maple Story. We'll see what everybody else says. One more question. Oh, Earlock was like playing Horto right now. Okay, there you go. All right, that was a side quest. Here comes the escort quest. Okay, we talked about what IP we would like to see made into MMO. Okay, did that a couple weeks ago. So I want to expand upon this. Okay,
Okie doke.
what creature, character, or class would you like to see in an MMO?
Crap, we're
then-
getting into furry territory, aren't we?
And which MMO would you want to see it in? Furry. We're not gonna go furries, okay?
Oh,
It's not
darn.
a furry
Well,
show. This
I
is
gotta
a.
rewrite mine then.
Oh man.
I was curious. This is one of the things where we talked about our IPs, right? Mentioning
Mhm.
love to see turn into just one. That's great because we has a built-in story, built-in idea of characters we want to play and whatnot. But if we had a choice, what character or creature would you want to see, and in what MMO would you see it? Looks like Five Nights says he wants bards in WoW. Bards in Dark Age of Camelot were really cool. I mean, they played instruments. They did a lot of cool things. They were kind of a fun class. I didn't play them, but they were fun to have. Okay. Yes, you can post a link. So yeah. So Jazio, what do you think? What would be a good? What would you want? A creature, character, or class you want to see?
I mean, that's so vague.
It's vague. It's meant to be a open-ended,
Yeah.
a broad range type of thing. Because hard to answer that personally.
One that I kind of thought would be a universe that would be neat to visit in an MMO setting, including the different races and whatnot. Although there weren't a ton of them, but was the Fifth Element.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Because I started thinking like it was just it was a silly story, and it was pretty simple, but I thought that would actually make a really good MMO. And the races in it and whatnot were pretty cool. Although it was mostly human, but I can't specifically remember the names of the other races on there. But it's been so long since I've rewatched it. But now that when you mentioning bards, man, that would be really cool in World of Warcraft. Because there were bards on EverQuest, and they would play the music, and the music had different buffs, and they weren't great. They sucked solo. Like you could not. Well, EverQuest you couldn't really solo that efficiently anyway. But bards were the worst, man. If they got hit, it was horrible. But if you didn't have one in your raid group, you were sunk. Because they had the most utility out of every class in the game. If you had a bard and behind you playing their mandolin or whatever instrument, their flute, all of them did different things. It was just you went from 1 to 100. So I mean, I probably would say, yeah, especially if we're talking World of Warcraft, I think Bard would be amazing to put into the game if they could work it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. FK Knives. I'm down for that MMO. The world was really cool. I forget which one it was. Okay. And then Earlock was like, don't forget the blue tentacle backup singer for the MJ ripoff.
Oh yeah.
Oh, she's creepy.
Oh, that's right, Element. Yeah. It's one of the things where it's almost like you guys start thinking about what kind of creature character you want. So Solomon, what were your thoughts were? Because it's hard for me. I wrote this down, and I don't have one in my head right now, but I don't know.
I kind of already answered this in the question last week, but
based on the IP.
Yeah, because the thing I want, it's not organic, and so I'm pretty sure you know where I'm going with this, but it's just big giant robots.
Yeah.
Big giant robots like Gundams and mechs from MechWarrior or something like that, you know? Just because huge mecha fan, so yeah, that'd be my answer.
RF Online. RF Online.
That game is super old. I have no desire playing that.
What is RF Online?
It's a mecha MMO, but it was like made like almost 15 years ago or something like that.
Okay.
10, 15 years. So the graphics is completely outdated and I looked into it. I just can't get into it.
So Erlock says you want a Transformers MMO?
No,
No,
that's
like
different.
yeah, because Transformers, they're inorganic individuals, like they're actual like people. Like I'm actually talking about like a full battle suit, like a mech suit, like in Gundams and Mech Warriors, you know.
Robotech.
Yeah, and Robotech, yeah, stuff like
Yeah.
that, you know, where you actually have a pilot, controlling the, the mech at hand or the robot at hand. I mean, if they made a Transformers MMO where you could customize it to make it look like really cool and stuff, like sure, I'd play that, but there still be something left to be desired just because you don't have that pilot aspect to it.
Yeah. For me, I wrote that question down, but it's like I couldn't really answer it because I'm thinking like whenever I think about going like this weekend was supposed to be Emerald City Comic Con, and you can go to an artist and beforehand do you purchase a commission. And I'm thinking, what would I have someone draw? I don't think I would have anyone to draw. I don't have a fan base around a creature or character or anything. I mean, except for, of course, I do have a Mandalorian and the child picture. So maybe right now my goal would be to have a Yoda type of creature or a child. But that's already been out there. It's not like you can't play those in Star Wars, I think, right? I mean, or no, it's not a class you can play or a race.
Like Yoda? No.
Yeah, you can't. But I mean, that'd be the one to do is a Yoda in a Star Wars type of galaxy, I guess.
Are
All
you
right.
sure you don't want to be a cat?
No, you can play cats. You can play the Khajiit, not a Khajiit. The Khajiit, no,
Khajiit.
and
Yeah.
ESO Khajiit in ESO.
Oh yeah, that's right. There's also a cat race in Star Wars: The Old Republic too. I forgot about that. I don't know what they're called.
5-9 says, I'm honestly surprised there isn't a real Gundam MMO. True. I don't even think in Star Wars Galaxies EMU can you play the Yoda race. Yeah. I don't think so. Hey, Sean, I want an Avatar The Last Airbender MMO.
That actually sounds interesting.
That would be
Could
interesting.
see that working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With toon shading graphics, I think that would fit very well.
Ooh, that'd be cool, dude.
Yeah, I think yeah.
All right. Well, that's cool. So, by the way, guys, we are MMO players, so therefore we are going to play the New World. Is coming out on May 26th. Join us. Join the Whiskey MMOs and More gang for the launch of New World. We are currently talking about doing it before the actual launch, which comes at midnight on May 26th. More news will come once Amazon gives us better data and what's actually going to happen. So times for the pre-show and actual play time, we'll let you know. But we plan on doing it. We plan on streaming the launch of it. We plan on playing it. And so you are welcome to join us. There is a Discord right now. There is a New World Discord. So if you have any questions about that, just send us a DM or a whisper and we'll let you know about that because there's a bunch of people who are very, very excited about New World and wanted to run together. Some of the folks who have been playing WoW in the past or BDO or SWTOR. So a bunch of MMO people we know are wanting to do this, okay? Let's see what we got here. We got the world building will be for that universe was well done. Did you know which faction you'll be going? We don't know what faction we're going to go for New World, do we?
I thought we were going to do the
did we choose that?
I forgot all the names already.
I think we were leaning toward Covenant, but
yeah, Covenant. I thought that's what we were doing.
There you go. Right down, Cov and in. So we're doing Covenant.
Ultimately, I really don't care. I mean, so long as we don't get all the plebs.
Yeah, there's that.
Wait,
we
you said
did that
midnight? It's coming out
what?
midnight. Do you
Well,
know? Do you know if it's Pacific or?
Pacific, because Amazon is West Coast, but
Oh, okay.
the Amazon pre-purchase says midnight Pacific time. So
Oh, okay.
but again, once actual data comes, they may change that time frame. Let's
That's
see.
true.
Sean's like, would love to stay in chat, but going through a lot of depression, his sadness with more move a friend I grew up with. Yep, we praying,
Dang.
Sean, about your friend moving to California. So de Gloria, while I can't join in this new world, I can't wait to join you in the new world of Revelation 21:22. I always love how Sola de Gloria always pulls in the scriptures into our talk about games, you know. Five Nights says, "Is the faction going to decide your starting area?"
Yeah, I think so. Because if
Does
you look
it?
at the map, it was sectioned off into 3 different parts,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pretty sure those 3 different parts of the map correlated with the factions as well. I could be wrong, but that was just my assumption when I saw the previews.